Beloved, when the morning light lays its golden hands upon your face and pulls you gently from the silk folds of sleep, know this: the world has not merely allowed you another day, it has anointed you with it. There is purpose wrapped inside that breath you take when you first wake. There is duty tucked into your spine when you rise. You are not here by chance, not flung across the fabric of time like so much dust. You are chosen. You of all the multitudes have been whispered into this moment to carry something forward that no one else can. And in this knowing, in this sacred recognition of your calling, there are things that must be done, not once in a while, not on good days, but every single day. There are three flames that must be fed, 3 wells that must be filled, 3 truths that must be lived. And I come to you today not with ceremony or performance, but with reverence and fierce love, to speak of them plainly, truly, and with fire. First, a chosen one must remember, not in the light, shallow way of dates and facts, but in the bone-deep remembrance of who they are, and who came before them. Each morning before your feet touch the floor, you must recall the stories etched into your lineage, those of sacrifice, of perseverance, of joy, carved out of hardship. Because identity is not inherited like a name, it is a torch passed down, and if you do not remember, you will drop it in the dark. When you recall the hands that hoed fields, stitched garments, lifted books, signed treaties, raised voices in trembling defiance, you tether yourself to a legacy that is larger than ego and longer than time. And when you begin your day grounded in that remembrance, you walk differently. You speak with a tongue that has been kissed by generations. You choose with the wisdom of ages folded behind your eyes. A chosen one must never allow the noise of the world to drown out the drumbeat of their origin. Whether your ancestors were kings or captives, poets or painters, whether you know their names or only their dreams, you must claim them. You must speak to them in silence, carry them in your walk, honor them in your work, because without memory, a chosen one becomes a stranger to their own power. Second, a chosen one must create. Every day without fail, with trembling hands if necessary. You are not here simply to consume, critique, or coast. You are here to make something that did not exist before you. That something may be a poem or a policy, a business or a lullaby, a meal or a movement, a kindness given in a grocery line. Do not be fooled into thinking creation is the realm of the talented. Creation is not about talent. It is about obedience to the call inside you, to the voice that says this must be said, this must be built, this must be sung. And if you ignore that voice too long, it will go quiet, it will retreat, it will watch you trade your birthright for comfort, applause, or fear. And oh, how the world suffers when chosen ones stop creating. We feel it in our classrooms, in our boardrooms, in our governments, in our churches. We feel it when innovation dries up and cynicism sets in. We feel it when the same old solutions are recycled for fresh problems. But when you create, you stitch something divine into the fabric of humanity. You participate in the sacred alchemy of vision made flesh. And you remind others simply by your doing that they too can rise and shape the air with intention. Even if what you create is imperfect, raw, unfinished, make it anyway. For the act itself is holy, and each day you do it, you declare, I am here. I am not idle. I am building the world I was born to see. Finally, a chosen one must surrender. And I do not mean surrender as in defeat. I mean surrender as in release. The daily letting go of all that does not serve the mission. Pride, pettiness, the need to be right, the fear of being seen, the addiction to certainty. Surrender is the chosen one's daily baptism. It is how we stay clean in a dirty world. Every sunrise invites you to pour out what you no longer need, to unclench your jaw, to remove the armor, to stop curating yourself and simply be. Surrender means understanding that you are not the source of your own calling. You were chosen, yes, but you were not the choser. You have been given gifts, yes, but they are not solely for your profit. When a chosen one surrenders, they submit to the truth that they are a vessel, not the flame but the wick, not the river but the bed. And when we surrender, we are led. We find ourselves speaking words we didn't plan, loving people we once feared, forgiving offenses we once clutched like medals. We find ourselves soft and strong all at once. We stop needing applause to feel valid. We stop chasing status to feel significant. We become dangerous to every lie that ever told us we were small. But surrender is not a one-time act. It is daily, sometimes hourly, sometimes in every breath. And each time we do it, we make more room for truth to dwell. Now I know that in a world of noise and distraction where everything tries to rush you into doing before you have rooted yourself in being, these practices may sound simple, too simple perhaps. But I promise you this, if every chosen one remembered, created, and surrendered every single day, the world would not be what it is. The tides of justice would rise higher. The songs of healing would ring louder. Our systems would bend not just toward equity but toward tenderness. We would not be waiting on heroes, we would be them. Not caped or crowned, but consistent, present, awake. And you may be asking now, but how do I know if I am chosen? Oh love, you would not still be listening if you were not. The chosen are not perfect, but they are persistent. They are not without wounds, but they do not let wounds become walls. The chosen are not always seen, but they see. They notice the gaps and step into them. They feel the pull of something sacred and respond with trembling yeses. They keep showing up, even when the room is cold or the road is long or the applause is absent. If your chest stirs when you hear truth, if your heart tightens at injustice, if your mind wrestles with how to build better, then you are chosen, and it is time to act like it. This life is not a dress rehearsal. It is the main event, and the world is not waiting for someone else to rise. It is waiting for you, to wake each day not numbly, not casually, but deliberately, to choose, over and over, to remember who you are, to create what only you can, and to surrender what holds you back. These three things are not a suggestion. They are a lifeline. They are the scaffolding on which you will build a legacy, not measured by fame or fortune, but by the number of souls lit by your fire. So go ahead, rise tomorrow, and let your first breath be a remembering. Let your hands bring something new into the world, and let your spirit unclench, so something greater can move through you. If enough of us do this, not someday but today, consistently, courageously, quietly, then the world will shift, the light will pour through the cracks. The broken will believe they can heal, the silence will find their song, and we, the chosen, will finally take our place, not above, not apart, but among, building not empires, but bridges, not monuments, but movements. One sacred, surrendered, creative, remembering day at a time. Amen. And I would be remiss, deeply remiss, if I did not speak to the weight, the sheer, sometimes unspeakable weight, that comes with being chosen. We speak often of destiny, of calling, of purpose, as though these things are neatly wrapped boxes that simply appear on our doorstep, ribboned and ready. But any soul who has walked even one honest mile in the sandals of responsibility knows the truth. To be chosen is to carry not only your dreams, but the dreams of those who could not. To be chosen is to walk through fire with grace, to feel the strain of expectations you never asked for, and still wake up each day committed to rising. There is a gravity to it, and some days that gravity will make your knees tremble. It will make your spirit question if the load is worth it, if the path is too lonely, if the vision is too vast for your two bare hands. But even on those days, especially on those days, you must not let the enormity of the task convince you that you are small. The ocean is vast, yes, but it is made up of single drops, each drop sacred, each drop essential. You are one such drop, chosen not because you are the strongest, or the loudest, or the most polished, but because something in you said yes when others said no. Something in you kept burning when the night got cold. There will be people, sometimes people who look like you, sound like you, love like you, who will not understand your fire. They will ask you to dim, they will ask you to wait, They will suggest that your urgency is discomforting, your passion inconvenient, your commitment too much. But hear me clearly now. The chosen do not wait for permission. The chosen bless the space with their presence. They do not arrive meekly, they arrive fully, not arrogant, but certain. Certain that their being is not a burden, but a gift. Certain that their presence is not an accident, but a directive. You must learn to stand in that certainty, even when the winds of rejection try to push you off center. You must learn to anchor yourself in that knowing, even when your own reflection tries to forget. Because the world is not always kind to the chosen. The world will praise you only after it resists you. It will celebrate your victories only after it mocks your beginnings. And still, you must show up. You must do the sacred work, not because it is easy, not because it is glamorous, but because the world becomes a little more just every time a chosen one refuses to quit. There is also the matter of love. O chosen one, let us not forget love. For what good is brilliance without compassion? What use is power without tenderness? To remember, to create, to surrender, these are noble acts, yes, but they are hollow if not done in love. Love must be the root from which all your branches grow. And I do not mean the soft storybook kind of love. I mean the ferocious, truth-telling, justice-seeking kind. I mean the kind of love that challenges silence and confronts cruelty. The kind of love that refuses to other or exclude. The kind of love that looks in the mirror and says you too are worthy. Love must be your fuel. Let it guide your remembering so you do not romanticize the past but honor it truthfully. Let it guide your creating so that what you build does not just impress but uplifts. Let it guide your surrender so that what you release is not out of fear but out of trust. When love is your compass, you cannot lose your way for long. You may falter, you may forget, but you will always find your way home. And beloved, let us speak plainly now about time, because time is the one currency you cannot earn more of. The chosen must treat time not as something to kill but something to cherish. Every moment wasted in comparison, in bitterness, in fear, is a moment you could have been building, healing, reaching, becoming. You do not have the luxury of waiting for the stars to align. The stars are already in place. They are watching you, waiting for you to align with them. Procrastination is not humility, it is betrayal. And I say that with love, but I say it firmly. The world cannot afford for you to delay your becoming. The world is aching, and you are part of the remedy. That does not mean rushing, that does not mean exhausting yourself in a frenzy of productivity. But it does mean living on purpose. It means refusing to sleepwalk through your days. It means choosing presence over pretense. It means asking yourself every night, did I remember? Did I create? Did I surrender? And if you did not, do not shame yourself, but do not excuse yourself, either. Choose again. The next morning, the next breath, choose again. And yes, there will be setbacks. There will be detours. There will be moments when you fall so far from the vision that you question if you were ever truly chosen at all. But let me tell you something that no storm can steal. The call does not expire. The call does not weaken just because you do. The call waits. The call lingers. And when you are ready to rise again, and you will rise again, it will be there. It will meet you at your worst and remind you of your best. You see, being chosen does not mean being flawless. It means being faithful. It means returning to the work even when your hands shake. It means showing up to your calling, even when your confidence has run dry. It means trusting that the same power that chose you will sustain you. And let us not forget the quiet ones among us. The chosen do not all speak loudly or walk boldly. Some move in stillness. Some change the world with gentle hands and open ears. Some lead not from podiums, but from kitchens, classrooms, clinics, corners of the world most others never see. But they are chosen all the same. They hold communities together. They breathe life into dying dreams. They listen people back into their worth. And so I say to the quiet ones, your power is no less sacred. Your fire is no less bright. Do not let a noisy world convince you that volume equals value. Your impact is measured not in decibels but in depth. You were not chosen to perform. You were chosen to be. And to those who are tired, so bone-deep tired from carrying dreams too long deferred, I say this: rest if you must. Rest is holy. Rest is part of the work. But do not mistake rest for resignation. Let it be a pause, not a period. Lay down your burdens, yes, but do not lay down your crown. The world needs your full self, not your burnt-out shell. So sleep, breathe, weep, if you must. And then when you are ready, rise. Rise remembering. Rise creating. Rise surrendering. In the end, the call of the chosen is not about titles or tasks. It is about transformation. Transforming pain into purpose. Transforming silence into song. Transforming wounds into wisdom. And this transformation begins not in grand speeches or global platforms, but in the sacred dailiness of your life. What you choose to say when no one is listening. What you build when the lights are off. What you release when no one will ever know. These are the places where calling is made real. These are the moments that separate the chosen from the merely talented. And if you forget everything I've said today, and I hope you don't, but if you do, let this one truth remain: you are needed. Not a version of you, not a perfected future you, but you as you are now. Your joy, your grief, your quirks, your questions, your tenderness, your rage, it is all part of the offering. So do not shrink. Do not stall. You are here on purpose. You are chosen, and there is sacred work for you to do. Remember who you are. Create what only you can. Surrender what holds you back. And do it not someday, but today. Do it again tomorrow. Do it with your whole soul. And when the day comes that your hands are too weary to keep going, when the fire dims and the breath slows, let it be said of you, that you lived not just a life, but a calling. That you did not just pass through this world, but changed it. That you did not simply exist, but answered. And may that answer echo long after you are gone, in the lives you touched, the light you left, the truth you lived. Let that be your legacy. Now go. The world waits for no one, but it hopes for you. And let us now speak of fear, not the fear that keeps us safe, the kind rooted in instinct, but the fear that binds, silences, and cages the chosen before they even begin. That kind of fear does not arrive with a trumpet. It whispers. It tells you that you are not ready. It says someone else could do it better. It insists your time has passed, or has not yet come. It questions whether your voice belongs in the room, whether your story is valid, whether your hands are worthy to touch sacred things. That fear is a liar, and yet it wears the face of truth. It knows how to mimic wisdom, how to wrap itself in logic and caution and humility. But do not be fooled. The chosen are not spared fear. They are simply not ruled by it. They walk with it, but do not bow to it. They hear its voice, but do not let it drive. They feel it rise, but they rise higher still. You must learn to recognize that fear not as an enemy, but as an old companion whose presence signals that you are close to something true. And when you feel that fear tightening its grip, remember this: you were not chosen for ease, but for depth. You were not called to live cautiously. You were called to live fully. To live fully means to risk. It means stepping into rooms where you are not yet fluent. It means offering ideas that may be misunderstood. It means loving people who may not know how to love you back. It means planting seeds you may never see bloom. And it means accepting that the chosen often labor in the shadows long before they are ever recognized in the light. But recognition is not the measure of value. The work is the worth, the integrity you bring to it, the joy you fold into it, the justice you seek through it. That is the mark of a chosen one. You do not wait to be seen to begin. You begin because the truth inside you refuses to stay buried. You begin because something holy keeps pulling you forward. And so you move, not with fanfare, but with conviction. You build, not because the world is watching, but because you know it must be built. You lead, not for applause, but for alignment. And that alignment will sustain you when applause does not. But let us speak now of failure. For every chosen one will meet it, not once but many times. It will arrive disguised as disappointment, as delay, as rejection. It will shake your sense of progress. It will tempt you to question your worth. But failure is not the opposite of calling. It is often the fire through which calling is refined. Failure asks you, are you in this for praise or for purpose? Will you fold at the first sign of resistance? Or will you dig deeper? The chosen are not immune to falling. They are simply committed to rising. Again and again, with scraped knees and tear-filled eyes, they rise. And with each rise, they become more of what they were born to be. So if you are facing failure now, I say this, let it teach you. But do not let it name you. Let it prune what no longer serves you. But do not let it sever your roots. You are not your setbacks. You are the strength that survives them. And while we are unearthing truth, let us not neglect the sacred act of listening. The chosen do not rise on their voice alone. They rise by listening. Listening to the wisdom in silence. Listening to the pain behind anger. Listening to the longing beneath apathy. Listening not just to respond but to understand. In a world addicted to noise, the chosen practice the radical art of listening well. They make space for stories that are not their own. They sit with discomfort rather than rushing to fix it. They listen to their bodies, to their dreams, to the quiet promptings of spirit that logic may overlook. This listening is not passive. It is participatory. It is active reverence. It allows the chosen to build bridges where others have built walls. It allows them to lead not with dominance but with discernment. And it protects them from arrogance. For the one who listens never forgets that they are always still learning. You see, being chosen does not make you better. It makes you responsible. It calls you to a higher standard. Not for pride but for impact. It calls you to keep your integrity when no one is watching. To remain kind when kindness is not returned. To speak truth even when truth costs you. It demands that you live not just for yourself, but for something greater. And that something greater will look different for each of us. For some it may be justice. For others, healing. For others still, invention, education, sanctuary, or art. But no matter its form, it will always require courage. Not the kind of courage that shouts, but the kind that stays. The kind that endures. The kind that rises each day, weary but willing. And yes, there will be days when you question it all. When your purpose feels distant and your progress invisible. When the world feels heavy and hope seems naive. On those days you must remember this, even when you cannot see the impact. The work is working. Seeds planted in silence still bloom in time. The smile you gave, the word you spoke, the story you told, they ripple outward in ways you may never know. So do not measure your worth by immediate results. Measure it by your faithfulness to the call, by the way you keep showing up. That is where power lives. That is where legacy begins. And legacy is not a thing of monuments. It is a thing of meaning, of lives touched, of chains broken, of truths told. The chosen are not interested in being remembered. They are interested in being useful. They ask not how can I be admired, but how can I be of service? And that question shapes everything. It shapes how you lead, how you speak, how you rest, how you heal. Service does not mean servitude. It means alignment. It means your gifts, your presence, your energy, all directed towards something that elevates others as you rise. The chosen know that rising alone is not rising at all. They bring others with them. They lift as they climb. And let us not forget joy. Because joy is not frivolous. It is revolutionary. In a world that profits from your stress, your joy is a form of resistance. In a culture that thrives on fear, your laughter is a declaration of life. The chosen must claim joy, not just as a feeling, but as a practice. Daily, intentionally. Especially when things are hard, joy reminds us of what we are fighting for. Joy gives us fuel to keep going. Joy connects us to our humanity. And it is contagious. When you live in joy, others begin to believe it is possible for them too. So dance even when the battle rages. Laugh even when the storm rumbles. Celebrate even when the victory is small. These acts are not distractions from the work. They are the work. They remind us that we are not here to endure life, but to live it fully, boldly, joyfully. And when the world tells you to shrink, to simplify, to smooth your edges, so that you fit inside someone else's comfort, remember this. You were not chosen to fit. You were chosen to transform. That means some rooms will be too small for you. Some paths will be too narrow. Do not make yourself less so others feel more at ease. Your truth deserves space. Your vision deserves voice. Your story deserves air. Speak it. Live it. Walk in it, even when it feels costly. Because the cost of silence is always greater than the cost of authenticity. So as I draw this message to its final stretch, I ask you now to take a breath. Not the shallow breath of survival, but the deep breath of remembrance. Breathe in the truth that you were born with meaning, that you are here on divine assignment, that nothing about you is random, that your being, your becoming, your battle, your beauty, they all point toward a purpose greater than yourself. And as you exhale, release whatever told you otherwise. Release the lies. Release the doubt. Release the shame that said you were not enough. You are more than enough. You are called. You are capable. You are chosen. And so tomorrow, and the next day, and every day that follows, do not wait for signs in the sky. The sign is you. You are the evidence. You are the answer to someone's prayer. You are the light in someone's shadow. And the three things, the sacred three: remain, remember, create, surrender. These are not just daily practices. They are sacred vows. Made not just with words, but with action. Live not just in the spotlight, but in the ordinary rhythms of daily life. And when you live them, truly live them, you awaken something ancient and unbreakable within you. So go now, chosen one. Walk tall, not with pride, but with purpose. Speak gently, not from weakness, but from wisdom. Love boldly, not because it is easy, but because it is right. Build the thing. Write the words. Start the healing. Name the injustice. Hold the hand. Make the art. Teach the child. Carry the fire. Keep the promise. And above all, do the work only you can do. The world is waiting, but more than that, it is ready. Ready for your voice, your gifts, your light. Do not delay. This is your time. This is your call. You are not lost. You are not late. You are not lacking. You are chosen. Now act like it. And though the path of the chosen one is often solitary, it is never truly alone. For with each step you take in courage, others rise quietly beside you. Maybe you do not see them yet. Maybe their names have not crossed your lips. Maybe their faces are still turned away from the light. But they are there, watching, waiting, gathering the courage to follow the echo of your footsteps. The work you do in private has a public consequence. The way you live gives others permission to live more freely. That is the hidden blessing of the chosen path. It multiplies. A single act of truth-telling sets off 1,000 acts of liberation. A single moment of vulnerability creates a reservoir of shared strength. You may never witness the full ripple of your choices. You may never know who found their voice, because you used yours. But trust that the ripple exists. Trust that it travels. Trust that it matters. And that is why you cannot afford to perform a version of yourself that is acceptable to others, but unrecognizable to your soul. Because pretense is a thief. It robs the world of the real you. And the real you is what was chosen, not the filtered version, not the polished, rehearsed mask, but the flawed, fervent, honest being, whose very breath carries the fingerprint of something sacred. So do not water yourself down to make others comfortable. Do not contort your truth into palatable shapes. Live your fullness, even if it makes others uneasy, even if they do not understand, especially when they do not understand. The chosen one is not always understood, but they are always necessary. And yes, necessity does not mean ease. The world may not applaud your growth. It may not reward your honesty. Sometimes it may resist you because you are a mirror, and people do not always like what the mirror reflects. But your job is not to be liked. Your job is to be true, and truth is not always embraced at first. It must be planted, nurtured, watered with patience. But when it takes root, it is unshakable. That is the work you are called to, not the temporary high of popularity, but the enduring substance of purpose. Let the shallow clamor of public opinion never distract you from the quiet call of your higher self. You must also guard your mind. You must curate what you consume as carefully as you curate what you produce. The chosen cannot afford mental clutter. They cannot afford to feed their spirit with poison. What you take in will shape what you give out. The books you read, the voices you listen to, the environments you linger in, all of these become part of your offering. So feed yourself well. Feed yourself with truth, with beauty, with wisdom, with stories that stretch your imagination and strengthen your resolve. The chosen must remain students, always learning, always stretching, always refining, not because they are lacking, but because they know growth is a sign of life. You are not here to arrive, you are here to evolve. That is the rhythm of the chosen. Becoming, becoming, always becoming. And when the noise outside grows loud, when doubt disguises itself as reason, when fear borrows the language of proof,